Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Meenaal Fatma and today I'm going to be taking a live test for you guys. So I would really request you, all those who are currently live, just put a quick reminder on the different groups if you're there and just remind people to join in. So the more people we have, the more interesting the entire test is going to be, because we'll keep discussing as we move forward. So let's just wait for a minute or so and see how many people are joining. And all those who are currently live, just quickly just say a hi or hello so I can see your name and I can address you when I'm talking. Good evening, Karan. By the way, just a quick reminder, on Unacademy we've decided to put forward 20,000 plus live classes, free live classes, which are the special classes on our platform. And all those who are new on Academy, I just want to tell you a little bit about it, that we are one of the largest learning platform, online learning platform in our country, and we are trying to help each other in this difficult time. So as of me, I'm taking additional 10 free classes on the special class on Unacademy to not stop the learning process. Okay, so let me quickly move on to the topic today. We are going to be doing a practice test on the reading, right? So what I'm going to do is, the passage is relatively of the level 2 for academic and kind of a level 3 for general training. So it's going to be productive for all you guys. I will be doing it in the same format as I generally push students to do in my plus classes. So you have an entire passage and you have 3 different types of questions for that passage. You have matching the information question, you have yes not given question, and you also have summary completion. So 3 set of questions for the same passage. Okay, and I'll give you time for the questions and then going to the passage. And what I'll do is I've divided the time for each question and finding answer of each question. So I'll be stopping on each slide accordingly, and I'll be asking in between if you guys need a little bit more time, but I'm going to be trying and pushing it into a time framed strict test. Okay, good. So all those who are live, guys, quickly introduce yourself before we start with the test. Meanwhile, I'll quickly introduce myself for all those who are watching for the first time. Hi guys, I'm Meenaal. Professionally, I'm an architect and urban designer. I've done bachelor's from BID Mesra, and from there on I moved to London, where I did MArch from A School of Architecture. I have lived, worked and studied in London for the past 2 years. I've given the exams myself, long time back though. And since then I've been trying to help a lot of students get their desired band scores, and in fact push their desired band scores. And honestly, this particular section, reading section, has been my own personal strong area, and in fact a lot of students have been benefited by the kind of strategies that I discuss especially in the reading course. So let's see how well you guys do. Otherwise, anyways, I'll be discussing the answers, so you will be knowing the trick behind finding your answers really quick. Now, before I actually start, I just want to tell you that reading module is one module which requires a lot of practice, but as you move forward with the practice, you got to have a very specific set of approach for each different type of question. And that's exactly how I studied myself and how I also teach, right? So मान लीजिए कि there are 10 set of question. For example, keep matching the information. So आज हम कर रहे हैं matching the information, yes or not given, and summary, right? So the moment you have these questions in mind, all the important strategies and approach to attempt these questions should come to your mind immediately. right? तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि this is a step, tuck 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 tuck, this is what I'm going to be doing, right? So once you know that, it automatically saves your time in many areas, and that's the key of reading module. And that is personally my personal strategy for reading module, to try and save my time in different areas, and that's how I have designed all my strategies as well for reading module. Because given a lot of time, I'm sure everybody can do all the questions, but the difficult area lies when you got to do in the limited time frame, isn't it? So even when we practice, we got to be very strategic with the time management as well, and exact same thing we will be doing today. Okay, now I will be giving out the answers, but in case you guys want to study and know the explanation of the answers, which is very crucial, you got to know the areas where you go wrong as well, and you got to be very convinced of the right answer. It is very important, because until unless you know कि आप गलत कहाँ पे किए हो और उसको सही कैसे कर रहे हो, until unless you're confident of the answer that comes through, you will not progress, right? So actually going wrong is very important, and finding why that answer is correct is also very important. And that will, once you start preparing in that format, you're gonna be equipped real quick with the pattern of the answer and the pattern of how they hide the answers in the passage, and that becomes the key. Okay, good. Let me just quickly refresh this. Just give me a second. Yeah, great. Now, in case you guys want to see my previous video, let me tell you where you got to go. In case you're new and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure the first thing you got to do is go up and subscribe to the channel. The channel's name is Unacademy IELTS, right? And make sure you also press the bell icon so that you don't miss classes. As you can see, Lord, most of the top educators are teaching live on YouTube as well, and we keep making a lot of videos each and every single day, so make sure you do not miss on any. And in the same context, I have made a playlist which is called Learn IELTS with Meenaal Fatma. So in case you guys want to watch my previous videos, make sure you go up to the playlist and find all the videos. Okay. On a quick note, I also got an award for creating best structured courses that gives best results. It was called Johnny IF from Unacademy. Now, as I was saying, I would not be discussing the answers. I would be giving out the answers, but I would not be giving an explanation, because first I want you to let yourself loose and find the answers yourself. And it's also a good practice for all those who are planning to give the computer based exam, right? तो answers अगर आप explanation चाहोगे, तो मैंने एक free class, I have put it up on Unacademy. All those who are not yet following me on Unacademy, make sure you do. You can either download the Unacademy Learner app on your phone, or you can go to the website directly and find me, type my name correctly. Don't go wrong with the spelling. It's double E and double A in my name. It's Meenaal. And check out the special classes. Go to my profile and check out the special classes. There would be a class called Discussion on Answers of Live Tests, which is scheduled for 22nd March 8:30 PM. तो आज के जितने भी आंसर हैं उसका easy tricks and easy explanations I'll be giving in that particular class. So make sure you do enroll yourself for free, so that you get a notification when the class starts. Okay, good. Now what we're going to do is I'll quickly show you the passage, but we will not be reading the passage first. I'm sure there is no, yeah, fine. Nothing is being cropped. That's what I was trying to see. Great. So this is the passage. As I said, the passage is kind of a level 2 for academic and level 3 for general training. So it's beneficial for all. Everybody can participate in this. The vocabulary is average, not very difficult, right? But it is relatively a little bit lengthy. जैसे आपके पैसेज रीडिंग के पैसेज 2 अकेडमिक में होते हैं एंड जैसे जनरल ट्रेनिंग में पैसेज 3 होते हैं, राइट? So what we'll do is, I generally like to read the questions before I move to the passage. So as I said, there are 3 sets of questions. We'll be attempting each question one by one. So I'll be giving you time to read question 1, right? And then I'll take you through the passage and I'll stop on each slide to make sure you're getting time to find your answers. And similarly, we'll do the following up question types. Okay? So now I personally believe in reading the questions a lot faster because I do not like to read everything and try and understand everything from the passage. So if I read the question, it actually helps me to locate my answers real quick. I don't get stressed about trying to find trying to understand each and every sentence. And also in case there is a little, there are difficult vocabulary words, I don't get intimidated because I know without even knowing their words, I can still find my answer, okay? So there are a lot of advantages, but I also majorly think it's a time saving technique to do the questions, to read all the questions first and then come. Not read one line and then come to the passage, but एक section, जैसे पूरा matching the information question पढ़ लिया, फिर passage पे आए, yes not given questions पूरे पढ़े, फिर passage पे आए, ठीक है? So that saves your time and it becomes a lot faster to do the questions, ठीक है? So we'll do the same order and in the same time frame today. So the passage is called the true cost of food, right? So you have paragraphs numbered as you can see, and on the heading you can see you can spend about 20 minutes. आपका 3 passage होता है तो you get 20 minutes time for each. But honestly I feel like you should save a little bit more time for your later passages because the length increases, the difficulty increases. So you can try and do your first a little bit quicker and then save your time for the later passages, okay? Now, so इस passage पे आपका question 14 to 26 होगा, as you can read it on the heading. You are supposed to address question 14 to 26 for this passage, right? The heading says the true cost of food and the paragraphs are fortunately numbered, okay? So you have A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So pretty long, right? Pretty long. So if I start reading it, I'm going to be wasting a lot of my time in trying to comprehend each and every sentence. And as I said, you might get difficulty in vocabulary sometimes. Sometimes sentences are really long. You might find it difficult to understand the whole sets at the same time. So I don't want to stress myself in trying to understand each and everything, okay? So let's just jump to the first set of questions. I'll give you time to read it, okay? So this is the first set of question 14 to 17, right? Let me read it to you. Reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? So you know the question type is matching the information. अब जैसे आप question पढ़ोगे आपको पता चलना चाहिए कि matching information है. How am I going to do this quick? कैसे करूँगी मैं? क्या approach होगा? Like step 1 क्या होगा? Step 2 क्या होगा? It should come to my head. Write the correct letter A to G in the boxes 14 to 17 on your answer sheet. There's a note as well. You may use any letter more than once. So repetition of the paragraphs are allowed. That means कि एक paragraph में आपके पास यहाँ पे जो mentioned है कोई भी 2 से 3 answers present रह सकते हैं. So repetition is allowed. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर मान लीजिए कि 14 का आंसर मेरा ए आया है तो हो सकता है कि मेरा 15 का भी ए आ जाए, ओके? सो इन्फॉर्मेशंस कुड बी लाइंग इन द सेम पैराग्राफ, सो यू गॉट टू बी अ लॉट मोर केयरफुल, ओके? नाउ लेट्स रीड द क्वेश्चन 14 to 17. and then go through the passage. I'm going to be quiet today. Generally, I talk a lot. I'm going to be quiet today and I'll give you time to do it yourself. Let me just read it once for you and then I'll give you time to prepare the questions. Now, to prepare the questions is the key to finding answers quick. Okay? So let me read it and then I'll give you time to prepare it. 14 says, a cost involved in purifying domestic water. 15 says, the stages in the development of the farming industry. The term used to describe hidden costs. One effect of chemicals on water sources. All those who are live, guys, it's going to be great if you could just introduce yourself so I could be helping you out with your names as well. Your time starts now. I'm giving you time to work out with your keywords and with the meaning, and if there's any easy eye catcher, try and find all of them. I'm monitoring the time. Okay, let's just discuss the keywords real quick. The first statement is saying the cost involved in purifying domestic water. So basically, there would be something in context to the pricing in terms of the costing. जो domestic water को purify करने में involve होता है, right? So we got to be looking at if there is anything mentioned in terms of prices, or have they actually mentioned the figures. If you're very fortunate, it would be a lot easier if the figures are written, but I got to know that cost could be an easy eye catcher to look for. And then I got to see if the paragraph is addressing to domestic water specifically. It's just a random guess. They might talk about different types of water here, but I got to be careful of looking at domestic water and if they are relating it to purifying or not, right? The second one says the stages in the development of the farming industry. Now, farming industry kind of looks like as the main keyword for this part, farming industry. Now, farming industry के stages or in the development की बात हमें देखनी है, right? कि अगर that is mentioned or not. But fundamentally, my first area to look for, to stop for, it would be farming industry. Now, why I'm looking for keywords is when I go to the passage, I will just go at a long stretch and I will just keep reading and reading and reading, and I'll be looking at for these keywords. I might not get an exact word, I could get their synonyms as well, right? But I will use these keywords as locators to find my answers, okay, to find my area of answers. Not necessarily every time I would get, but I would roughly know where it is. That's why it's very important to identify the keywords which will help you to locate your answers. Next one is the term used to describe hidden cost, right? तो यहाँ पे कोई terminology को use कर रहे हैं वो for hidden cost, और हमें वो देखना है. So it's going to be somehow an important term might be in the form of a proper noun, could be in caps, but not sure. But hidden cost का ऑल्टरनेटिव वर्ड है वो, राइट, कि किसी चीज़ को, हिडन कॉस्ट को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए कोई टर्म यूज़ किया गया है. वी गॉट टू बी केयरफुल कि वो किस पैराग्राफ में है. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन इज वन इफेक्ट ऑफ केमिकल्स ऑन वाटर सोर्सेज. नाउ effect of chemicals on water sources. So right now I might guess कि ये negative हो सकता है, but there are also chances of positive too, because what they many times do is they put many very obvious statements which tempts us to fall for and write the most obvious answer, but that's where they play the trick. So you got to be careful when they put out most obvious statements, right? The one effect, now one effect is something that is catching my attention because एक paragraph में एक effect की बात हो, kind of tricky, isn't it? So let's see if they talk about one effect of chemicals on water resources or not. So I think there are a lot of keywords that could be catchy. Chemicals on water resources and one effect that they are addressing to. Okay, now in case you're doing it from your laptop, take a quick picture of this so you can keep this in your hand and then find your answer so that you have the keywords in front of you. Otherwise, if you are doing it from your phone, just quickly get a pen and paper and quickly note down these statements so it gets easy for you to find the answers in the passage, because going back and forth from the question to the passage, it will waste a lot of time. So try and do that. And also because I will not be able to assess everybody's speed together, so I will go at my pace. So if you want to put down the statements for yourself, do it. I'm going to give you 30 seconds for that. Okay, let's go to the passage now. I'll be giving you time for each slide. As you know, there are 7 paragraphs, right? So there are 4 slides. So I'll be giving you enough time for each slide. Don't worry. Okay. What I'll do is I'll quickly read it to you. So in case there are any confusions, it's going to be resolved. Okay. Let's start. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the paragraph A starts with, for more than 40 years, the cost of food has been rising. It has now reached a point where a growing number of people believe that it is far too high and that bringing it down will be one of great challenges of the 21st century. The cost, however, is not in immediate cash. In the West, at least, most food is now far cheaper to buy in relative terms than it was in 1960. The cost is in the collateral damage of the very methods of food production that have made the food cheaper. In the pollution of water, of soil, the destruction of wildlife, the harm to animal welfare, and the threat to human health caused by modern industrial agriculture. Okay, so I'm just reading it loud so that in case there is word which is not very clear, you can still go through. The second paragraph says, first mechanization, then mass use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, then monocultures, then battery rearing of livestock, and now genetic engineering. The onward march of intensive farming has seemed unstoppable in the last half century as the yields of produce have soared. but the damage it has caused has been colossal. In Britain, for example, many of our best loved farmland birds such as skylark, the grey partridge, the lapwing and the corn bunting have vanished from huge stretches of countryside, as have even more wildflowers and insects. There is a direct result of the way we have produced food in the last 4 decades. Thousands of miles of hedgerows, thousands of ponds have disappeared from the landscape. The fecal filth of salmon farming has driven wild salmon from many of the sea lochs and rivers of Scotland. Natural soil fertility is dropping in many areas because of continuous industrial fertilizer and pesticide use, while the growth of algae is increasing in the lakes because of the fertilizer runoff. Now I'm giving you some time to see if you're finding your answer anyways by any chance in these 2 paragraphs, and I'm monitoring the time. फाइंडिंग आंसर्स मिल रहे हैं? Your time is ticking. I'm going to go to the next slide. Sure, let's go to the next slide. The C paragraph here says, oh God. In case you need a little bit more time, you got to comment and you can let me know ki ma'am, give us just 30 seconds more or something of that sort. Otherwise, I'll go with my pace. Okay, let's just quickly go through C and D as well. C says, put it all together and it looks like a battlefield. But consumers rarely make the connection at the dinner table. That is mainly because the cost of all this damage are what economists refer to as externalities. They are outside the main transaction, which is, for example, producing and smelling a field of wheat, and are borne directly by neither producers nor consumers. To many, the cost may not even appear to be financial at all, but merely aesthetic. A terrible shame, but nothing to do with money. And anyway, they, as consumers of food, certainly aren't paying for it, are they? The D paragraph says, but the cost to society can actually be quantified and, when added up, can amount to staggering sums. A remarkable exercise in doing this has been carried out by one of the world's leading thinkers on the future of agriculture, Professor Jules Pretty. Such a nice name, isn't it? Director of the Center for Environment and Society at the University of Essex. Professor Pretty and his colleagues calculated the externalities of British agriculture for one particular year. They added up the cost of repairing the damage it caused and came up with a total figure of 22,343 million pounds. This is equivalent to 208 pounds for every hectare of arable land and the permanent pasture, almost as much again as the total government and EU spent on British farming in that year. And according to Professor Pretty, it was a conservative estimate. Now I'm giving you time to find your answers here. Okay, let's go to the next one. E and F. The E says the cost included 2,120 million pounds for removal of pesticides, 216 million pounds for removal of nitrates, 55 million pounds for removal of phosphates in soil, 223 million pounds for the removal of the bug Cryptosporidium from drinking water by water companies, 125 million pounds for damage to wildlife habitats, hedgerows and dry stone walls, 1,113 million pounds from the emission of gases likely to contribute to climate change, 106 million pounds from soil erosion and organic carbon losses, 169 million pounds from food poisoning, a lot of figures, isn't it? And 607 million pounds from cattle disease. Professor Pretty draws a simple but memorable conclusion from all this. Okay, so there's a conclusion coming up. Our food bills are actually threefold. We are paying for our supposedly cheaper food in three separate ways. One, over the counter. Secondly, through our taxes, which provide the enormous subsidies popping up modern intensive farming. And thirdly, to clean up the mess that modern farming leaves behind. The F paragraph says, so can the true cost of food be brought down? Breaking away from the industrial agriculture as a solution to hunger may be very hard for some countries, but in Britain, where the immediate need to supply food is less urgent and the cost and the damage of intensive farming have been clearly seen, it may be more feasible. The government needs to create sustainable, competitive and diverse farming and food sectors, which will contribute to a thriving and sustainable rural economy and advance environmental, economic, health and animal welfare goals. Interesting, isn't it? Now you've got your time to see if you can find the answer in these two paragraphs, and then we'll go to a last paragraph. Okay, let's go to the last paragraph now. But if industrial agriculture is to be replaced, what is a viable alternative? Professor Pretty feels that organic farming would be too big a jump in thinking and practices for many farmers. Furthermore, the price premium would put the produce out of reach of many poorer consumers. He is recommending the immediate introduction of a greener food standard, which would push the market towards more sustainable environmental practices than the current norm, while not requiring the full commitment to organic production. Such a standard would comprise agreed practices for different kinds of farming, covering agrochemical use, soil health, land management, water and energy use, food safety, and animal health. It could go a long way, he says, to shifting consumers as well as farmers towards a more sustainable system of agriculture. Did you guys manage to find your answers for the first set of questions? Matching the information? Now, we are sorted with 14 to 17. I hope you've got your answers. I'll share the answers later. Let's go to the next set of question, which is yes or not given question. Okay, now we'll do the same process, but now since we've already read the passage 1, when you're finding the answers from 18 to 21, I'll be giving you lesser time for each slide. Okay, you've got to pick out 18 to 21. You have to mention yes or not given. When if it's yes, if the statement agrees with the claims of the writer, no if the statement contradicts with the claims of the writer, and not given if it is impossible to say whether writer thinks about this. Okay, and you have 4 of the statements over here. 18 says several species of wildlife in the British countryside are declining. 19, the taste of food has deteriorated in recent years. 20th, the financial costs of environmental damage are widely recognized. 21, one of the costs calculated by Professor Pretty was illness caused by food. I'm giving you time now quickly to prepare your questions. Now, true, false, not given, या yes, not given question का preparation is a little bit more, is kind of different, I would say, because here you've got to check that each and every keyword or part of your sentence is present in your passage or not. So you've got to divide your statements into different sections and check all of the sections. ठीक है, तभी आप आइडेंटिफाई कर पाओगे कि yes है या no है या not given है, राइट. एंड जैसे no not given में थोड़ा और ट्रिकी होता है, तो जब आप sentences break करोगे, break your sentences in different parts. If you find all the different parts in your passage, it's yes. If you find all the parts in the passage but is present in the opposite manner, it's no. And if you do not find any of the part of your sentence, the answer is not given. And if you break your sentences and then check your answers from the passage, then you will eliminate your chances of writing wrong answers and being confused between no, not given. And you've got to remember that true, false, not given से थोड़ा different होता है yes, not given, because यहाँ पे factual informations नहीं रहते, यहाँ पे point of view रहता है writer का, what they think, what is the point of view. That's so the framing of the statements are a little bit different from true, false, not given. Done? So let me show you how I would break down these sentences. The first one is, several species of wildlife in the British countryside are declining. So let me break it down and show you. Species of wildlife, several species of wildlife, British countryside, and declining. So I will check each and every part of the sentence. Similarly, 19 May, taste of food, deterioration in recent years, or are they talking about sometimes back in the past? Okay, that's how I divided. 20th says, the financial cost of environmental damage are widely recognized. The financial cost, environmental damage, and it has wide recognition or not. 21 ka, one of the costs calculated by Professor Pretty was illness caused by food. Now, one of the costs calculated by Professor Pretty. So, is it calculated or is it assumed? We've got to check that also. If they're talking about in estimation, calculation, so calculated is also a tricky word for me. Was illness caused by food. This is how I would divide my statement and check every part of the sentence. Also because कि आपको ये same statement एक statement में ही passage में नहीं मिलेगी. They might divide these different parts जो मैंने divide किए sentence के in different parts of the paragraph. हो सकता है कि one of the cost की बात वो paragraph के initially करें, illness caused by food के बारे में paragraph के end में बात करें. So you've got to find that story link. You got to link it up, and that's why when you divide it, it's all a lot more clearer to identify what are the different links and how would I form the loop. Okay, now quickly take a picture of this or just note it down. I'll give you 30 seconds and then we'll go to the passage. Sure, let's start. I've already read the paragraph, so I would not read it now. I will just give you time to find your answer and I will give you enough time for each slide. Now this should be quicker because you've already gone through your passage. Okay, let's go to the next page. I hope it's getting faster. Let's go to the next page. That's how far it should go for when you read it for the second time. Okay, the last paragraph. Okay, great. So I'm hoping that by now you would have got your answers for 21. I'll share all the answers later. Let's go to the last and the final stage, which is from 22 to 26. It's a part of the summary that you have to complete. You have to complete the summary. Oh God, sorry. And you've got a word limit that you don't have to go beyond 3 words. So I know that 3 is my deadline. Okay, let's read this real quick and let's think of a keyword that could help. Now summary completion ke there are many smart strategies to do this real quick, and if you're doing it, you've got to know them. आपका ये से चुटकी हो जाके finish हो जाएगा. That too, since it is the third set of question, यहाँ तक आते आते तो आप काफ़ी familiar हो जाओगे passage से. So it should be really fast. Let me read this out to you. Professor Pretty concludes that our blank are higher than most people realize because we make 3 different types of payment. He feels that it is realistic to suggest that Britain could reduce its reliance on. Okay, now look at the parts which I'm underlining. I'm going to use them to locate my answer. Now since it's a summary, answers are going to flow in order and relatively easy because I've read it many times. Although most farmers would be unable to adapt to blank, Professor Pretty wants the government to initiate change by establishing what he refers to as blank. He feels this would help to change the attitude of both blank and blank. Now take a quick picture of this. I'm going to take you to the passage. Even though by now you should know which paragraphs would have the answer of this, but obviously since it's a live test, I cannot be specifically stopping on those areas. I'll take you through the entire passage really quick. Okay? Chalo. Let's start with the passage now. sorry. There you go. You should already be knowing कि वहाँ पे ये part कहाँ पे mention होगा. By now you should already be know where the location is. Let's go to the next page. There we go. Let's go to the next one. Do you see how I'm pacing up the changing of slides? And that is actually why, that is only why, because you're going through the third time now, so you got to be familiar by the time you come to the third set of questions. Okay, let's go to the next one. Great. So I'm hoping that you guys have got the answers. I'll quickly share the answers now. Make sure you check your answers as I mentioned the answers. 14th is E, paragraph E. 15th is B. 16th is C. 17 is B. 18, 19, 20 and 21. Yes, not given, no and yes. 22 is food bills or food cost or just costs. 23rd is intensive farming. 24 is organic farming. 25th is greener food standard. 26 is farmers and consumers. आप दोनों का order switch भी कर सकते हो, it doesn't matter. आप पहले consumers भी डाल सकते हो, that doesn't matter. Okay, now in case you guys want to know an explanation of these answers, I'll be discussing it on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. on my Unacademy free class session. So make sure you go to my profile and enroll yourself for that class so that you get notified and you don't miss on any class. Okay, so that's it for the test. By the way, there are lot of plus courses that are ongoing, and I have brought up a 1-month crash course that is starting very soon. So make sure you do go to my profile and check out all the plus courses. And also there are many batch courses going. एक तो मेरी आयुषी की अभी currently चल रही है. There are actually many ongoing batch courses, and there are many starting as well. I myself am starting with another top educator as a part of 1-month crash course. So make sure you go to our profiles and give a look. to all the upcoming courses and the ongoing as well. Now, to attend these classes, you've got to buy a subscription. Now, once you buy a subscription, you'll get the flexibility of attending each and every teacher's class. आप सबसे जाके अपने डाउट्स क्लियर कर सकते हो, आप सबसे जाके अपनी इवैल्यूएशन कर सकते हो. In case you don't, you're not available for the exact time, जैसे for example Monday to Friday, I take classes from 9:30 p.m. onwards, and Saturday and Sunday I take in the morning 11:30 a.m. So in case you guys are not available that time, you can watch the videos later because they will be available to you offline too once you come back. And in case you watch them later, you've got some question, you can ask us in the doubt clearing session, which happens to be after every 3 class, or in fact I'll be sharing my Telegram details with you as well. You can message me immediately and we can discuss it. Now, in case you want to watch any of my previous courses also, you got that flexibility too. Now, even if you get a subscription today, you can watch all my videos which I've taken November, December, January, Feb, March, all of them. You can watch everything. So with just one subscription, you got all the courses on Unacademy IELTS in your hand, right? So you've got that diversity and that multiple choices to go for, right? Good. So in case you are interested, you've got to buy subscription. उसके लिए आपके पास multiple options है, 1 to 24 months का. I generally recommend 3 months in case you are planning for a good band score. If your English is a little weaker, you need to go for a little bit more time. In case you just want to revise and get your writing and speaking evaluated, you can join for 1 month as well. While buying the subscription, make sure you do use my referral code, which is Fatma Meenaal. You can also use another of my referral code, which is Meenaal Live, to get a 10% discount on the prices. जैसे 1 month का 6750 है, तो उस पे आपको 10% discount मिल जाएगा. Okay? Now, in case you guys want to have any further discussion, make sure you do connect with me on my Telegram, Meenaal F, and drop down a message. In case you want to have a chat personally, you can connect me from my group to a secret chat and we can have a further conversation there. I'm also available on Instagram and Facebook in case you are not there on Telegram, but make sure you do download because it's a lot more easier to share links and stay connected with all the upcoming videos, classes and courses. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it productive. Make sure you do give a thumbs up and leave your comments, and I'll be seeing you very soon when we discuss the answers on Sunday. Till then, take care. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.